Hello there. Yes, today is a joyous occasion because we've got a new arrival for the shelf. Yes. Let's get in here and liberate this bad boy. Oh, yes. This is the Dillinger Escape Plan's One of Us is the Killer. It is a reissue by Sumerian Records. There are 500 copies of this particular variant in the world. This is a black and tan sort of split down the middle. And it also serves as a cautionary tale of the trials and tribulations of being a vinyl collector, because this album has, well, a lot of Dillinger Escape Plan's albums have the unfortunate stigma of being very limited edition things, some more than others. This one in particular was very hard to come by if you didn't buy one of the myriad of first releases that were out, and which have since fetched frankly ludicrous prices on DISCOGS. So this reissue, which I am mangling at the moment, trying to get out of the protective wrapper, was released in December of 2019, and it cost me a grand whopping total of $25 from the US, plus another $25 for shipping, plus another $30 for import duties. So this little bad boy ended up costing me around the vicinity of $80. And why, you may ask, why would I pay $80 for this record? That's not even my favorite of theirs. I don't even think I've listened to it more than once, to be perfectly honest. Well, I'll tell you, it's because of the gap. When you get hooked on a band, you go to see their live shows, you read up on them, you listen to their music, and you go, I am into this band. And you, in fact, become so into it that you start buying their records just when they come out, just on a whim. Like, you know that this band is going to deliver quality. When they put out a new record, it's going to be good. And the one time you don't pick up their record, it instantly becomes super rare and hard to find. And so this one was the gap in my Dillinger Escape Plan collection. I have every record they've put out, with the exception of the debut, Calculating Infinity, which I will get at some point. It's not as hard to come by as this one. And also, it was an album they did with their previous lead singer, who is a fine, upstanding gentleman, but not as versatile, I think, as the mountain of meat that is Greg Puciato. Incidentally, if you don't know what Dillinger Escape Plan is, let me sum it up briefly for you. They are a group of very nice, talented young men who do not at all sound like a freight train colliding with a store that sells musical equipment that has somehow learned how to scream for its life at the same time. And their live shows are absolutely legendary. So I'm very enamored with this band. They have since parted ways. So the idea of having a complete collection of their stuff, EPs and such excluded, EPs and singles, don't really care about that, but the full-length albums I really wanted, and this one, when it came out, I was a bit, we've sort of heard it, it's good, but it didn't light my shit on fire the way that Miss Machine or Ironworks did. They were fantastic albums, and this one came along and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll get it later. There's no getting it later, especially not when it comes to this sort of shit. So I had to dig deep. I did not expect to pay import tax, but that is the gamble you run when you order shit from the United States and you live in Europe, and vice versa, I would imagine. And I would assume across other continents as well. It's just a shame that a record like this has to sink that much teeth into your budget just to fill that gap. And this is where the insanity comes in. This is where vinyl collectors really just are an insane bunch of people, because I could be perfectly happy the rest of my life, not even knowing that this album existed. I'm probably going to listen to this a grand whopping total of maybe 2 or 3 times in my life. but it's missing. And that's the problem. There's a gap on the shelf where this lovely bad boy, and look how lovely it is, really, where this lovely bad boy should be, and it's not. Now, for the longest time, I had two of these so-called white whales, which is the term that the Insano Brigade on YouTube used to describe vinyls that are missing from their collection. I had two white whales. This was one of them. The other one I will get into, don't worry. It's Ladytron's Witching Hour, in case you're interested. Oh, look, it even comes with... My. But this one, like I said, this one was a gap. It is now no longer a gap. I will have to replace the inner sleeve because the inner sleeve is one of these cardboard things. It's a very lovely printed sleeve, and who doesn't love a good printed sleeve? But the inside is this rough cardboard edge. That's just good common sense when you're a vinyl collector. Just take care of your records, ideally when they show up in the mail, so as to preserve as much of the glorious grooveness that there is. Now this little hunk of madness will go down and sit amongst its brethren on my shelf, and will no longer keep me awake at night. So thank you, Sumerian Records, for putting this out. I see already on DISCOGS that this particular variant is going for upwards of $60, even though, to my knowledge, you can still buy it from Sumerian Records' website, which is what I did. So at least I didn't have to pay import duties on top of a $60 purchase. Just a $50 purchase with shipping included. Vinyls, eh?